The ladies, despite having a loss yesterday afternoon, have won their way through to the final, and they will face Inogra, and it's an exact mirror replica in the men's, Phil.
Yep. Now, this interesting is that Inogra have never featured in the finals of the state pennants before, either men or women. So this will be an interesting one, particularly on the women's side. I think there's probably going to be an even stronger matchup than the men's, but time will tell.
So we welcome in some viewers already. Julianne Smart from Elliott Heads, Marilyn Basher, Kane Nelson, Michael Hooper, David Baker. Your guys' job is to share this. As we said before, no more mucking around, no more prelim games, sectional games. This is the real deal now. This is the grand final, the state flag up for grabs. So Inogra versus Helensvale in both the men and the women. So a chance, as you said before, Inogra's first crack at the finals. Well, it's a chance for Helensvale as well to replicate what Broadbeach achieved last year in winning both the men's and the ladies' finals.
That was a strong showing by Broadbeach last year. Very strong teams they had in.
So we're seeing the Jacks just going up for the first of two trial ends. The greens have been changed direction. 3 of these 4 teams have not played on this green at all today. The Helensvale men did, but in the other direction, so just making it fair for everybody. You're having 2 trial ends, so still around about 10 minutes until we get underway.
And that breeze we mentioned this morning has certainly freshened up this afternoon. The flags are standing straight out now, so there will be definitely a wide side and a narrow hand.
It definitely is, Phil. Actually, only in the last 10-15 minutes, it's got up quite strong.
Yep. Could have been a change of tide. That often happens. After a change of tide, the wind will strengthen. I don't know why, but it does.
Not too far away from the water here. A great spot, this, Tweed Heads. So, yep, definitely. As we see Anthony Keepy there getting ready for his game. So we've got all sorts of different cameras located in different positions for this particular match. So we'll be able to bring you both the men's and the ladies on the go. We're not really fixed. We'll see how we go. We'll try to bring you a little bit of everything. As we welcome in Corey Wedlock, Justin Breen, James Templeton, Rebecca Jelly. Your guys' job is to share the feed, guys. So we might do just a little early poll. We'll start with the ladies, I guess. There seems to be a few more ladies watching. If you think Helensvale are going to win, hit that love button. If you think Inogra are going to win, hit the laughy ha-ha button. As we welcome back in 2 of our regular viewers, Brett Davis and Paul Vardy. Guys, the love button for Helensvale, the laughy ha-ha for Inogra in the ladies' match. So we'll get a little poll going very early on.
Club Helensvale have featured pretty strongly in the finals over the years for the men. Since I think the matches started 2001, they started having state pennant finals for Division 1. And since 2001, Helensvale has managed to take home the ultimate prize 5 times. So you'd think they might be odds on to take it home a 6th time, playing Inogra. In the ladies, Club Helensvale have won it once since 2004. And that was back in 2012. The ladies took home the prize and beat West Toowoomba Bowls Club.
So some of those victorious team members will still be in the Helensvale side, but there'll be a smattering of new ones. Kelsey Cottrell, she wouldn't have won a state pennant with Helensvale before. As we welcome in Scott Roddick. How are you, Sid? Millsy Mills, Jared Smith, Peter McGawley, Ty Turnbull. Good of you guys to join us, and remember to click that share button. We're all go here on Facebook Live this afternoon, live from Tweed Heads. The Bowls Queensland State Division 1 pennant finals for both men and ladies. Who's your early picks, Phil?
I think Club Helensvale for the men and Enoggera for the women.
Here we go. So, Helensvale ladies did suffer a loss yesterday afternoon to Marlin Coast.
Very surprising, that one. Made us all look twice at the scores and they sure got this the right way round.
Absolutely. Look, they just, there's nothing sinister about it. They just got outplayed. You know, one of those games where bowls catching the wrong side of bowls and the jack going a foot further than you'd think and all that sort of thing.
Just watching Amanda Havaker from Club Helensvale roll up. She got it line perfect on the wide hand and was just a little wide on the backhand. So there's quite a difference on each side of the rink here. As we're looking away from the club, the right-hand side is the eastern side and the wide side, which obviously makes the narrow hand on the left or the backhand going away from the club if you're a right-hander.
So remember, the love button for Helensvale and the laughy ha-ha button for Enoggera in the ladies. For you people at home, click those buttons and show your support. We'll run through the teams, Phil. We'll start with the ladies. On rink number 1, Kelsey Cottrell, Amanda Havaker, Yvonne Lovelock and Jessie Cattell. They face the Nolene Dutton side.
Okay, that'll be Amy Evans, Eileen Swanson, Emma Spicer and Nolene Dutton.
On rink number 2 for Helensvale, skipped by Georgia White with Natasha Jones, Sarah Duffield and April Wilson leading off.
And they will be against Esther Reagan's team of Isabella Lawson, Natalie Nordloff and Lee Fortington.
So lots of support coming in for the Enoggera ladies. Now lots of support coming in for the Helensvale girls. So all you people watching at home, remember to click that share button.
Helensvale rink 3 skipped by Pamela Fantini. Who's her team?
She has Rosie White playing third for her, Brenda Bolchin, and we're just going to have a wee scan across. I think there's been a late inclusion. I'm pretty sure that Joanne Stockdale may be coming out of that side and being replaced by Teresa Armitage, but we'll get confirmation of that very shortly.
Okay.
Teresa Armitage, mother of Lindsay Clark, who hasn't been sighted. She's not part of this team this weekend. Of course, the birth of her child only a couple of weeks ago.
They have a tough team to play against. Zaya Morgan, Wendy Peach, Faye Clark and Maria Rigby on rink 3.
So Maria Rigby had a big win yesterday morning against Algester. So interesting, Phil. The Helensvale ladies have had a good win this morning on the back green to win their way through to the final.
Yeah, they were pretty comfortable winning that one.
Enoggera had the bye. So this is their first game of the day. Just some of the,
They're coming in quite fresh. No preconceptions. I guess in a way that might be an advantage, although if I was playing a grand final, I like to have had a warm-up in the morning at least.
Depends which way you look at it, doesn't it, really? If it was me personally, I'd probably prefer to have a game, but you never know. The
Helensvale team is mostly younger players too, so I don't think it'll affect them too much having played already this morning.
No, you wouldn't have thought so, depending on how long they kicked on for last night.
They're probably all in bed by 8:30, mate, like you. Or not.
Debatable. Debatable. For the girls, of course, I was.
I must admit I didn't enjoy the alarm going off at 4:15 this morning.
So we're around about 5 minutes from kicking off here at Tweed Heads. If you can see on your screen, we have the scores for both the men's and the ladies' matches. We do understand that depending on which device you are using to stream that the live sticker with the number of viewers may be covering one of the scoreboards, and I think if you're on an iPhone, probably covering the top left, which is the ladies' scoreboard. So indicating the ladies or the women, there's a W after 0 of 63 ends W. That's the women's scoreboard, and the men's with the M on the other side.
And just to confuse you, we have Inogra in green on the men's side.
So very, very powerful lineups for both clubs. Stacked full of internationals, former internationals, state players. Lots of young players as well in both sides, men's and ladies.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean they're inexperienced either, because a lot of them are starting so much younger than a traditional bowler, say starting at 40 or 50 years of age. A lot of these guys have already had some pretty good experience under the belts by the time they turn 20. Okay, we've just had an update for one of the Inogra players. Zaya Morgan on rink 3 has been replaced by, is that Gloria Gillespie?
Gloria Gillespie, inclusion there for Inogra as we welcome in Nick Cahill. Played very, very well this morning, Nick, young Nick, and Ryan Marston. One of Maui's finest.
How did you go with that update for Joanne? Is she in or out, do you think?
I'm pretty sure she's out. It looks like Teresa Armitage out there.
Okay.
So, of course, the Pennant season, depending on which district you're in and how many rounds, it can be quite long, and there's all sorts of ins and outs throughout the weeks, including on even the final day. So welcome Barry and Sharon Crawford, Trish Spicer.
Also, it varies a great deal on what state you're playing in. For Victoria, their pennants go for about 3 months. They do have a break over the Christmas New Year period. So they start in November and go through till early February. So it's a fairly long pennant season for Victorians. In our area of Queensland and southeast Queensland, in the Gold Coast district, for instance, it's only 8 weeks.
So not too far from getting underway here as we're joined by Adam White. Thank you for joining us, Adam. Players, some have finished their trial ends, some have waiting for the skips, some are shaking hands. Fairly relaxed atmosphere here, and I'll tell you what, the crowds, but there's a big crowd here, Phil.
Mostly players at this stage, although their support teams have also stayed on. It's good to see the players who haven't made it to the grand final staying on to witness what's going to be an absolute cracker of a match, or 2 matches really. But it's the same teams, Inogra and Helensvale in the grand finals, both men and women. Just finishing their trial ends.
So we'll run through some of the results of the round 3 games taking place this morning, the final round of section play. In the women's section 1, Algesta 61 defeated Hervey Bay 41, and of course Inogra, as we spoke about before, had the bye. So the final standings, Inogra 4 plus 38, Algesta 2 plus 17, and Hervey Bay 0 minus 55. In section 2, South Suburban 86 defeated the Marlin Coast 49, Club Helensvale 69 defeated Yeppoon 48, and the final standings in section 2, Club Helensvale 4 plus 43, South Suburban 4 plus 21. So reasonably close there, only sort of 20 shots in it.
Man, that's over 2 matches.
Absolutely. Marlin Coast 4 plus 8, so 3 teams finishing on 2 wins out of 3 games, and Yeppoon rounding off section 2 0 minus 72. In the men's, section 1, Across the Waves 80 defeated Leichhardt Services 47. And Club Helensvale had a big win, 90 over Chinchilla 30. So the final standings for Section 1, Club Helensvale 6 undefeated, 6 plus 164.
Ouch.
Across the Waves 4 minus 10, Chinchilla 2 minus 58, and Leichhardt 0 minus 96. In Section 2, things got real close here. It came down to the nitty-gritty. Enoggera 75 defeated Swifts 44. That was the big result. That's got Enoggera over the line and into the final. South Suburban 72 defeated Pyalba 44. And the final standings, Enoggera 4, so they won 2 out of the 3 games. Enoggera 4 plus 58 and Swifts 4 plus 23. The magic number in their individual game was 14. If Enoggera defeated Swifts by 14 shots or more, they were through. Ended up beating them 75-44. So the final standings, Enoggera 4 plus 58, Swifts 4 plus 23, South Suburban 4 minus 9, and Pyalba 0 minus 72. And that leads us to the grand finals, which are about to get underway. Just some announcements from Bowls Queensland on the green. So the players' names just being introduced, and
they are playing April Wilson, Sarah Duffield, Natasha Jones and Georgia White. On ring 3, from Enoggera, Gloria Gillespie, Wendy Finch, May Clark, Maria Rigby. Rosie White, Pamela Fantini. Okay, for the men, on ring 4, from Enoggera, we have Luke Barnes, Jim Wise, Ben Dine, Jamie Anderson. They are playing Matthew Lucas, Jake Christie, Mark Casey, Nathan Rice. On ring 5, we have from Enoggera, Neil Peach, Rod Dixon, Bradley Lawson, Brendan Easton.
so Ron Somerville of Bowls Queensland just announcing the team names, which we've just done just previously.
Just double checking our, make sure we have our information correct, because there have been a couple of changes.
So we can confirm, so a couple of late-ins. Gloria Gillespie in for Zaya Morgan, and Maria Rigby's bink for Enoggera. And in the Club Helensvale side, Teresa Armitage slots in at second in Pam Fantini's rink, with Brenda Bolchin moving back to lead, and Joanne Stockdale sitting this one out.
Enoggera's just had their team meeting, men and women together. G up a bit of support amongst themselves, bit of confidence. All giving each other pats on the back and G up. So coming away from that meeting, smiles all over their faces, apart from one player who looks really tense, who we'll talk about later. Okay, the opening salvos. The Helensvale have won the toss and are bowling first.
So welcome Stephen Brune, and thanks for joining in from the UK.
Sorry, that's in the ladies' match, and Enoggera's leading off in the men's match.
Graham Linden from Musgrave Hill, thanks for joining us, Graham.
Hi, Graham. I thought Graham would be playing in the Masters this weekend.
Let us know what you've been up to, Graham.
Graham and I played the Masters a couple of years ago, and we picked up a medal in the men's pairs.
So we see Isabella Lawson just a metre or so past the jack on rink number 2, leading off for Esther Regan against young April Wilson, who looks to be on the wide side with this one, Phil. We've spoken about this before.
Holding it out, yep. It's really holding that out.
It's definitely the side that April Wilson played is definitely the tight side. The side that Isabella Lawson's playing, her forehand heading away from the clubhouse, is definitely the wider side.
I was watching the girls on rink 1 and they were going out to at least the rink marker and sometimes beyond to come back to the jack, come back to the centre line. So that gives you an idea of how wide it is, that hand.
Already noticeable as well, just that second bowl of Isabella Lawson's just seemed to swing on a little bit. The greenkeeper did roll the green a couple of times before, so that may have brought another, half a second or so out of the green.
Sarah Duffield puts her first down and is a little long. Had it not connected, it might have been a fairly true grass. A bit hard to say.
So Natalie Nordloff, wife of former Australian representative Jamie, and she looks like she's going to be zooming on through the head as well.
Underestimated the grass quite a bit.
Thank you for those kind words, Helga Falcongreen. Graham Lenden's just resting up, Phil. He's just having a weekend off.
Rightio.
So a bit of a correction here required for Natalie Nordloff. She lines up on her forehand, on its way. Reasonably short end.
Yeah, it looks like better grass. Skip's a lot happy with this one.
She's given it the early clap, Esther Regan.
She knew the grass was a lot better, just over a metre behind.
So 1 to Helensvale, the very first bowl of the match, delivered by April Wilson. So we see Natasha Jones track down on her backhand. She's taken a nice tight line here, which is what was required, and the weight looks semi-decent too. This should count, Phil.
Oh, yes. Get past that. She's got a cracker. Team gives her the clap. Well done. And high fives all round.
So I would have to say the average age of this Helensvale rink would be somewhere around 30. Which is great to see. All down to weight, this one. I don't know if she's got it, Phil.
No. Line was good. Another metre required or so.
So first bowl there from Lee Fordington as Natasha Jones switched hands just to make sure she doesn't get hooked up on that front one. It's pretty reasonable if she can get past. And that's a counter.
Yeah. 2 good bowls. Well done.
So a good start from Natasha Jones. 2 bowls on either hand, first into the game. Not easy to do, and she's stuck both about half a metre away from the jack. 2 counters, so Helensvale holding 3. As the final bowls played before the skips approach the mat, and Esther Regan's getting very interested in this one from Lee Fordington.
As you would. That's come to a very good home.
Possibly second shot, measure for shot. Just having a quick look, 1 down, so it looks like the jack level bowl of Natasha Jones's shot bowl. Perhaps got second shot with that one, so welcome to Jimmy Anderson. Thank you for joining us, Jimmy. Maxi Kleining, how are you, Super Maxi?
On rink 1, Amanda Hayvecker gets the high fives. She's just drawn shot for her team. Club Helensvale playing Inogra. George hasn't quite found it yet.
Don't go right now. Wait now, about an hour or so. But yeah, absolutely.
Let's see what Esther can do with her first bowl. Georgia was a little short, but right on line. Esther looks to be a little under strength. Yeah, good line. Metre and a half.
So Georgia opting to play up through and looking to either find a hole somewhere or turn a couple of her bowls over, is holding the shot.
She's holding the line out too. It's quite wide. Probably just overcooked a bit.
You're probably going to see a little bit of that on that particular hand in this game, Phil, as the players adjust.
So, Esther Regan looking for an extra metre or so with her second bowl.
Any touch on the jack, if she can move the jack back a metre or a metre and a half, she can make it.
She's certainly got the weight to do it.
If she gets a jack here, she can make a few. She doesn't want to click her own out. Oh, now she's 3 down. Right, so...
Yes, it is.
Game of inches, isn't it? If she got down onto the jack with that weight, she could have made 3 or 4. Now she's probably 3 down.
She is, yes. 3 declared from the third. So that's a reasonable start at Club Helensvale on rink 2. 3-0 after one end. And rink 1, Kelsey Cottrell just looking at her options. She's saying, what happens? Will we go 3 down if I carry it? No, we're 2 up at the moment. Okay.
So Georgia White's called to have the jack thrown at very similar length end again, and April Wilson has obliged. She is sticking down that tighter side of the rink with her first bowl as we welcome in one of our regular viewers, Nick Gosley. Thank you for joining us, Nicky. Stephen Merrill to answer your question. In the men's, is it Helensvale and Swifts or Helensvale and Enoggera? So it is Helensvale and Enoggera.
And that was a beautiful bowl from Kelsey. She's just drawn a toucher on rink 1. Rowling's looking to just arrive through the head a little and shift that jack, or she certainly put a little pace on that one.
So as you can see, we have got as we spoke about before, we've got a couple of different cameras going, so we're able to bring you a mixture of the bowls. So this particular rink, you see Mark Casey involved, operating as third for Nathan Rice. So Nathan Rice up against Big Jimmy Anderson.
Big Jim played a good game yesterday afternoon. He's stiff not to win that match.
Absolutely. If anyone was lucky enough to catch the tail end of that match, gee whiz, there were some outstanding bowls played.
You got a little excited, didn't you, towards the end of that?
Oh, I just couldn't believe how unlucky Jimmy Anderson got. Anyway, that's all history now, even though they lost that game. They've made their way to the final, so yes, they can erase those memories.
So we're on rink 4. We're looking at the Enoggera versus Helensvale men's match.
Rick Barnes leading off, and he's not far away, just a touch over. He led very, very well yesterday afternoon, did Rick Barnes. As we welcome in Steve Brown from Musgrove Hill. How are you, Steve? Jane Bush, Jared Smith. Thank you for joining us. Well over 100 viewers already early on. So what we need to do is we need all you guys to click share. This is the grand finals for both the men and the women. The state pennant finals. Doesn't get any bigger than this. So no more mucking around. Get sharing. Before we get too deep into the game too, we want you to pick your winners. So if you can comment in the comment section. Remember, there's men and ladies games both going on, both the same clubs. As we see, look at the fantastic split screen there. Able to see both rinks of action. There's Jaden Christie on your right-hand side of your screen, operating as number 2 for Nathan Rice. Thank you for those kind words, Simon Potter. So comment in the comment section who you think is going to run out the winner in both these games and the scores. So Helensvale versus Enoggera, who are you picking and what's the score going to be? Scotty DeJohn's picking the Hawks by 10. What's that in, mate? Men's or women's? welcome into Jay Dorr, Queensland State Singles Champion.
Mr. Regan's calling for her third to play the wide hand. I think that's just going to pull up quite a bit short. Had a good line too.
She'll cross over to the mat holding though, so she won't be terribly unhappy. Does have
it looks like a couple there, perhaps.
So Paul Vardy is picking the men by quite a few, so 25 shot win to the Hawks. Scotty DeJong, thanks for that, mate. Suzanne Rigney, she's picking Helensvale in both games, the men by a big margin and the ladies by 15. Jay Grinowedge is with you, Phil. He's picking the Hawks and the men by 14 and the Eagles and the women by 6.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game in the ladies.
As we welcome in Olivia Garnham. Thank you for joining us, Olivia. So what that bowl has done of Georgia White's is it's just given, it's just opened that side of the head up a little bit more. There was a bowl on the run in, but now it's more, still lower the jack, but it's closer. So Esther Regan's fairly close there.
Excellent bowl.
So
and the girls applaud. Well done, Esther.
At least 2 here for Inogra. Georgia White plays the final bowl of the end for Helensvale. At least 2 down. Does have some back stuff. She's not going crazy at it though. Just on the draw. Needs to hold her head up if she can do so. She's got onto the jack and she spat it back sideways. She got hooked up on the bowl.
Yes.
So maybe 3 down here now. And Esther Regan around about a metre of room. She just needs to beat that bowl coming in on the side of the head that she's coming in from.
She's got a handy line here.
Just needs to stop. She drifts on through and that
Probably not in the
won't
count.
be.
No. There's a couple there, and they're interested in measuring for the third. They're thinking about it. Yep.
So, of course, when we're updating the scores, we have 2 games worth of 3 rinks going on. So there's 6 scores to be kept track of and 2 scoreboards to be updated on your screen. So bear with us.
3.
We'll do our very, very best. 3 there, was it, Phil?
3 to Inogra. They strike back, having lost 3 in the first end. It's 3 all after 2 on rink 2. And Helensvale picked up 3 on rink 1 on the first end. And they picked up 1 on rink 3 in the first end. So they all started well.
So
and the ladies?
7 shots to 3 is the current score, but that'll be about to change with only a couple of bowls, only the skips bowls left on the Kelsey Cottrell and Pam Fantini rinks. Hello, Ronald White from Bathurst. So Jane Bush, if you heard me before, we'll do our very, very best to keep these scores up to date, but as you can appreciate, we have double the amount of work for young Robbie to take care of.
In the men's, we're just looking, the Helensvale team got off to a fairly good start there too, scoring on each rink. 2 on rink 4, 1 on rink 5 and 4 on rink 6. Just about to get an update on that after 2. Oh, excitement here for the Hawks and the ladies.
As we see Brendan Egan come down on his forehand. So Brendan Egan up against Aaron Sheriff. It'll be a fantastic match to watch. As we watch Aaron Sheriff backtrack.
Okay, quick update for the men's. After 2 ends, the Hawks 2-1 on rink 4. They're 1 all on rink 5. And And the skip standing in the way on reach 6. So I can't
4-0 to Helensvale.
There he goes.
So Brett
After
Wilkie
2
has picked up
ends.
4. Welcome in Jesse Turnbull, another one of our regular viewers. Jesse, we need you to share the post, please, mate. That'll be good, Tart. So what we're seeing here on rink number 2, which is the image you're getting now, is immediately as soon as Esther Regan has scored, she's lengthened the end, pulled the jack right to almost maximum. Jack only half a metre or so off the tee. Matt right back on the tee after 2 early successful ends from Helensvale.
Sarah Duffield plays her first on the backhand and underestimates the grass. There's still a reasonable amount of grass on that hand. You just got to trust that you got to take that grass. Although it is the narrow hand, you've still got to take a bit. Sarah was narrow from the start, but no doubt she'll correct with the next one.
Just got to think about it, these girls. Of course, the longer end, gives the bowl more of a chance to turn. So it will turn more on the longer end as
Natalie's looking anxiously at her second bowl. She's corrected beautifully.
So 3 shots to Enogra as we welcome in Kevin Anderson. How are you, Big Kev? If you've just joined us and wondering what you're watching, as Sarah Duffield looks to make a correction on her first bowl, and that'll be pretty handy at the back of the rink. So this is the Queensland State Finals of the Division 1 pennant for both men and women. Culmination of months and months of pennant matches and playoff zone matches and finals and
district matches, zone finals. Yes, it's all come down to today. They played all day yesterday, of course. Played well. Some of the women didn't. Some of them had a bye, of course, because there are only 7 districts represented in the women and 8 in the men. So the women each team had a bye, either yesterday or today. And Enogra actually ended up with a bye this morning, the Enogra ladies team.
So Lee Fordington will be quite happy with that. They have 3 shots, and now she has another one behind, right on the ditch. So Natasha Jones not massively enthused about this one, as it's going to cut under the head. Possibly be Helensvale's closest bowl, but they don't really have anything within sort of 2 metres at the moment. So thank you for joining us, Chris Hooper. How are you, Hoops? Another one of Musgrave Hill's finest. Troy Howard, thanks for joining us, Troy. And Ian Law, thank you for joining us, Lawman.
This is Lee Fordington's bowl. We're watching on the way down. Looks to be a little wide, and it's really holding out there. There's probably a little more breeze down that end than there is this end. Commentary end, which is the club end.
It's in the count though, so Natasha Jones, she needs around about a metre and a half and a touch more grass to improve on her last bowl.
She's got good grass here.
So we welcome in Sean Baker. Thanks for joining us, Bakes, and this will definitely be Helensvale's closest bowl. It's going to go close for shot here if she can get down a little bit more.
Oh.
Just finds the wrong side of the bowl, but she's cut the count down to 2.
Yeah. That's good. At least George has got something in the head she can play to now.
So Skeeter Carlisle backing in the Helensvale Hawkeys here.
Both sides?
Doesn't stipulate.
Ah.
Just wants, come on, Helensvale's the call from Skeeter. So we assume so.
Okay. Esther Reagan's been having a close look at that head, knows exactly what to do. She's playing forehand to beat the last bowl. Of Helensvale's third. So we're looking at one of the men's matches now.
Mark Casey on his forehand, operating his third to Nathan Rice. Looks to be fairly good here. Nathan Rice urging it to work in. So big Jimmy Anderson up against Nathan Rice. David Digby's calling Inogra men up by 8 shots.
Okay.
A lot of support coming in for both these sides, Phil, which is good to see.
Jim's having a very close look at this. Playing his backhand. Goes into his usual weightlifter's crouch before delivering, and just before he delivers he steps and looks like a bowler.
So it's on his way, on his backhand. He's got a little bit of turning to do. Needs to get underneath that front white ball and is not going to do so.
His line was pretty good. He was just a little overweight. He ended up not far away from the centre line.
Well, he needed to be coming underneath that front white ball to have any chance at all, which is exactly what Nathan Rice is doing.
Oof, and he's done it. Sat for shot. Thank you very much.
Easy as you like. It's sat in behind the jack as well for Nathan Rice, so that just makes things even tougher for Jimmy Anderson.
Okay, Georgia lets one go for her team, her last bowl. Looking to get shot or somewhere near it. She's a couple down, and I think she's going to collect that short bowl on the run in there. Oh, maybe that's their bowl she popped in. Yep. Okay, looking at 2 there. And once again, Lee Fordington goes down for a measure.
So big Jimmy Anderson with his final bowl. Looks like he's going to be playing forehand with a bit of weight. Down for the jack. Looks awfully close. Could be a kill here, and he has.
He's got it. He's pretty happy with that.
Great shot, big Jimmy Anderson.
Gives himself a little clap and a little boost.
He played plenty of them yesterday afternoon. Not afraid to get amongst it, big Jimmy. And he hit that one clean as a whistle.
Just quick updates. The women are 11-3, Helensvale 11-3 in the women's, and in the men's 7-2. That's the match scores.
Another reminder to all you out there who are watching, click on that share button. It's the only way that we're going to spread the feed like wildfire. We want as many people watching this as possible. Queensland State Pennant Finals doesn't get any bigger than this, Phil.
This is it. This is the ultimate. The men are playing for the Earl Cleese Perpetual Shield.
So Rick Barnes leads off with the first bowl. Leading for Jimmy Anderson, reasonably short end. Matt right back on the tee. Jack fairly short. He's a fairly good start here again. And he collects the jack on the nose too.
Thank you. Thank you, says Jim.
I've been very impressed by Rick Barnes both days. But here's an equally impressive lead that he's facing off against in Matty Lucas.
Absolutely.
Playing opposite hands at the moment, so Matty on the wider side, and that's a reasonable start, just a touch shy.
Doesn't look quite as good because of the good first bowl. From Rick Barnes looking to probably sneak around his first bowl and give his skip something behind, which he's done. Lovely bowl again, well done.
Be happy with that, Jimmy Anderson, around about a metre behind.
Matt will be happy to slip under his first bowl with another foot of weight.
Nathan Rice getting interested pretty early in this, so suggests he's pretty close. Just needs to hurry a fraction more.
Oh, he's got it.
Brilliant
Great
shot.
Bowl, yeah. Nathan had his hand, had his finger in the air when it was about a metre away.
Not just getting the shot too, but look where it's positioned. Yes. It's right tucked in behind that X shot, I guess.
First bowl of Rick Barnes.
Very well hidden. Of course, that does bring into play the back bowl of Rick Barnes, so we'll keep that in mind as the end progresses. And that's what Nathan Rice is alluding to now, wanting Jaden Christie just tucking just in between, if he possibly can, between the jack and that bowl beside Nathan's foot.
On rink 1, Kelsey Cottle has just drawn the shot. Nolene Dutton played weight on the forehand, was a little narrow and didn't alter it. Didn't alter the end. So Helensvale pick up another point there. We are watching rink 2 and Sarah Duffield gets her second bowl away. On rink 3, Helensvale ladies looking fairly comfortable.
Jaden Christie just needs to run here. Oh, only a foot of it. Had a perfect track to get underneath that orange. He did get past the jack with his first so that does help the Helensvale cause. There's only one way the jack's going to go if there's connection on those bowls, and that's backwards. So remember that Rick Barnes bowl.
Big Jim indicates you can get it off. That's first bowl of Matt Lucas's. If you play off that, you can probably get his second bowl just sitting on the jack. It's not a bad track. It just looks a tad narrow. Oh, nearly accomplished it.
Well, he's changed the head, so...
Yes, he's exposed the jack, so that's good.
I'll be happy with that as Natasha Jones makes her way back down to the mat, and she will look to help the Helensvale cause, playing as third for Georgia White. She'll play it on the backhand side, very long end. It's on its way. A little bit of turning to be done, and she looks like she's reasonable.
Yeah.
George has called it early. Just hurry a touch more.
Yep.
Possibly good enough for second shot. Looks like a bit of a measure all round there.
Mr. Regan indicating a track in there that the player can't see from the other end. The Maggie struts across the green in front of the players. And that looks a little wide for what Esther wanted, I think. Yeah, good weight. Good weight. So, Natasha is going to play a similar sort of bowl and maybe improve by one roll, if she can. It's coming down. Oh, it's under. It's under the line, I think. Yeah. And the weight was so good too. Natasha's not impressed with that one. So it would appear that Inogra probably holding two shots on this rink number 2 that we're featuring in the ladies.
We welcome in Talia Camilleri. Let us know, Talia, will you be making the trip down the M1 to watch your Hawkeys girls, or are you otherwise engaged today? Photographer extraordinaire, as we welcome in Dawnie Heyman, Australian representative. Chloe Morrison, thanks for joining us, Chloe. Queensland State Pennant Finals. Inogra versus Helensvale, men and women. Amazing, Phil, how many clubs there are in Queensland. I'm not even going to put a number on it. The same clubs end up playing the men's and the women's. That's a fantastic achievement.
Yeah. When you consider there are 22 clubs in the Gold Coast district alone. And I know the Sunshine Coast is pretty strong as well.
So Georgia White, she's not going to negotiate that front stuff. She had a reasonable sort of weight on that bowl, but just collected one of the front ones as we'll welcome in Jason Carpenter, another regular viewer. Thanks for joining us, Jace. If you could share this post, mate, that'd be magnificent.
Lee wants Maria to play forehand, just draw weight. There's not a great deal on, but if she can get around a short bowl, she should be able to maybe improve on this score. I think they're holding 2 at the moment. And this is underneath the line I think she was hoping to get. And runs into some short stuff. Unfortunately, the girls are standing right in the head, so we can't see the result of that one.
So let us know. At the moment on screen you can see a split screen straight down the middle, women on the left, men on the right, showing 2 games at once. Let us know what you prefer to watch. Do you like this split screen? Is this fantastic? Is it to your liking? Or would you rather have one screen and just have a sort of a combination, watch the women's rink for a little while and then a men's rink? Or what would you prefer to watch? What looks good for you guys? We're pretty flexible, aren't we, Robbie?
Absolutely.
Once again, the tape measure is out. Lee Fordington doing the honours once again. Looking to measure how many.
So Nathan Rice on his backhand, final bowl of the end.
There's 2.
Mark Casey getting interested in this one. Needs to rock and roll off a couple of shots here. And almost, gee whiz, wasn't far away there, Nathan Rice.
3 shots to Enogra in the ladies' rink 2. So Enogra sneaking away a little bit here. It's 9-3, and the game we're featuring after 4 ends. On the other rinks for the ladies, Helensvale comfortably ahead on rink 1 after 3 ends, 9-0. And 3-0 ahead on rink 3.
There you go, Talia, unable to get here, but how good is it when your emojis are the exact same colour of your club? Your love heart, you got a green love heart, you got a yellow love heart. You're all over it, mate. So we're getting some feedback on what the viewers would prefer to see. A lot are in favour of the split screen, which we've got going on right now. I don't think it's too late, Phil. I don't think it's too late, even though Helensvale have a slight lead in both matches. I don't think it's too late for the viewers to get in their picks, is it?
Oh, no, it's early days yet. You can still make a prediction. And you can throw caution to the wind and actually predict a score if you want to.
There you go. So young Isabella Lawson, it's a fair start, just nestling in, just half a metre behind the jack. She's a under-18 state player for Queensland. Got a very bright future, and she's obviously at a great club with some pretty cool club mates.
Oh, a little touch of the jack, and it went the wrong way for her.
So we're seeing some love for the split screen at the moment. Why don't you, if you don't want to type in split screen and get your fingers out and type split screen or one screen or whatever, you just want to hit one button, why don't you show the love button for the split screen and the laughy ha-ha button for just one screen, and just sort of switch between the two from time to time. Love button for the split screen. Conditions, Jason. Why don't you run us through the conditions, Phil? Tweed Heads Bowls Club.
Beautiful at the moment. Bright blue sky. A reasonable breeze of probably around 10 to 15 kilometres an hour, I would think. The green is in top condition. Probably running around 15.5, I think, which is comfortable for most bowlers.
Sensational hosts, the Tweed Head Bowls Club. Couldn't think of a better club to be hosting finals like this. Doing a magnificent job. Wayne Turley and his bowls crew here, and all the hospo crew inside. Just had an update through earlier on in the week, one of the Tweed Heads members, Chloe Stewart, she won the US Open singles. She's backed that up with the pairs as well, winning with her partner from the UK. So congratulations, Chloe. Got the double.
Sarah just played her second bowl, and there wasn't much correction of grass or weight for that matter, so she's not in the count.
Tyler Tucker, another regular viewer. Thanks for joining us, Tyler Tucker.
The Fordington seems to have her grass pretty right, just a little way through the head. Let's see if Natasha can plonk one down. Looks like she's going to play backhand. No, yes, she is.
Interesting. Yeah. So she needs to be coming under that very short bowl, which she looks as though she is.
Oh, she's well under that. Well under that. It's just a matter of how much a bowl turns at the end now. Her weight's pretty good.
Held up beautifully, didn't it? Sensational bowl. She's still one down, but it's a very, very good bowl.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are watching on Facebook, it's not the only medium that you're able to join us on. We're also live on YouTube.
How do they find that?
Very good question. We might. I think is there a link on the Bowls Queensland? Is there a link on the Bowls Queensland site for the YouTube vision? Just YouTube it. We might put a link in the post. I suggest though, if you're watching it on Facebook and everything's okay, don't try and change. Just stick with us. No point changing.
Okay, Natasha looking now to just sit that bowl out. That's shot. The jack sitting right in front of.
She's seriously close here. She's got a touch more weight, doesn't she?
She has. She's going to collect her front bowl. Oh dear.
In fact,
that hasn't improved things at all, really.
She made a connection on the shot bowl as well. She's got serious, and you couldn't play that too much better, to be honest.
She also touched the jack on the way through and just touched the bowl and the jack together, and hasn't really improved things for the rest of her or her skip. So Esther Regan's coming down, and she'll probably play backhand, I would imagine, because that bowl that's front right is against her. That's one of Natasha's bowls, I think, in the front right, or probably as you're looking at the left.
So welcome in Julie Keegan, last year's winner of this event with the Broadbeach Bulls, or Bullets. Did the double last year, Broadbeach, and now the Helensvale Hawks and Hawkettes, looking to do the double. Mitch Mears joins us. Thanks, Mitch. So we're creeping up to 200 viewers, guys, which is fantastic. Really great to see, and why not? There's some of the superstars of the sport in action here. So Georgia White makes her way back to the mat. And she doesn't have much of a target here at all. The shot bowl is just directly in behind the jack.
If she jams it, it might get a little bounce off. She's under the front bowl. She's under the second bowl.
Well, that will be the backest bowl, so to speak. So a couple of metres behind the jack, about 1.5, 2 metres behind, and there's nothing past that. So that gives her some options, and she wasn't a million miles away with that one.
Yeah, Esther put down a pretty ordinary first bowl. She was narrow and short. So she's looking to improve here. She's caught a short bowl on the run-in.
Well, this one might get in Georgia's line here.
Just thinking that. Yeah.
She might have to go with a touch more weight here, but she needs to
change her hand. She's playing forehand. Yeah, she's certainly playing a little weighted shot through the head. Looking to sneak under that front bowl, which she has just clipped it. No luck there.
It just made things difficult for her, because if she changed, when she did change to the forehand, completely different line. She needs to be taking completely different weights, so very, very difficult to adjust.
Yeah, had to play a different shot altogether. She had to play much more weight to get underneath that short front bowl. But she didn't quite miss.
So we look across on your right-hand side, on the men's side, is rink number 6, which is the Brett Wilkie versus Ryan Digby rink. Leading off for Brett Wilkie is Mark Thatcher, and he has shot there. You can see the green bowl of Mark Thatcher. Bowl sitting in just behind there of Brian Cosford. So Mark Thatcher, left-hander, plugs down on the wide side, the ditch side, leading for Brett Wilkie. Currently 5 all in that particular rink, so Brett Wilkie 5, Ryan Digby 5.
It's a fairly tight match at the moment with only 1 point in it for the men. For the ladies, there's 7 points in it in favour of Helensvale.
Julie Keegan watching from Thailand. Gee whiz. Sitting on the beach. Didn't you just get... No, you were from Bali, weren't you? Didn't you go a couple of weeks ago, Phil?
Yep.
Bali, Thailand. It's all good, isn't it?
I was also sitting in air-conditioned comfort at one stage, listening to you guys call the match.
What a pleasure that must have been.
Yes, the Wi-Fi connection was excellent at the resort we stayed at. The Bali Tropic Spa, a resort and spa. Beautiful place to stay. It's our second home, I guess.
So Peter Leon, very well-known figure around Queensland bowls. How did he get the shot under? He's come under the bowl on the centre line and sat the shot bowl in for shot. It's called a backdoor job, and he's having a bit of a giggle about that one as the Ponce. So Michael Turner played a poor one with his first, and he's adjusted and hasn't made things hugely better. So Barbara Green has found us again, which is good to see, Barbara. Well done. So Peter Leon, no doubt, will attempt to take a touch more grass than his last, although he's a bit shy with this one. Possibly going to count though, because his weight's fairly good, but probably just fell out there. So Anthony Keepy now on his forehand, former Australian representative, bowls coordinator at Club Helensvale, and he's not too far away here.
Just slides by.
Fair attempt there, drawing on the nice side of it, and it was only just half a metre past. Chris Garnham's watching from Noosa. Pretty good part of the world that is, Phil.
It is a beautiful spot. Haven't been up the Sunshine Coast to play bowls for a long time, unfortunately. Duties have kept me in the in and around home grounds with the Sevens, the Pennant, and the midweek tournament.
Anthony Keepy just needs to hold for the jack here, and he's found the hole again with decent sort of weight. So 2 sort of unlucky bowls there for Anthony Keepy, gave both a chance, and it looks as though the Ryan Digby rink for Inogra is holding 2 shots, and Brett Merkel now is a bit of a free run, but Ryan Digby just having a look at the options, may choose to come down on the other hand, and he's going to have a chat about that with his third.
While we're looking at that, upcoming tournaments, talking of upcoming tournaments, the traditional November 4s at Russell Island next weekend, which we have an entry in for. You ever been to Russell Island 4s, mate? It's a great weekend.
Never been there, no.
Well, Nathan, one of our roaming cameramen, is going to be there. He'll be playing all weekend. Start off with the pairs on the Friday, which is a separate tournament, and then the 4s on 3 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. always very well supported at Russell Island, and their hospitality is second to none. Okay, they've decided to go and play the backhand. Stretches it out.
Needs to get down underneath that Michael Turner bolt, and he's going to get collected up on it,
yeah.
but he's got a favourable wick, and perhaps not, perhaps not too short. So Susan Bond, how are the ladies going? So we're just concentrating on this men's rink just for a wee while, but we can tell you that the overall score is 17 shots to 10 in favour of Helensvale in the ladies. A couple of ends nearing completion here, so those
figures will change shortly. And the men's is pretty close. It's 9-8 to Helensvale, again with a couple of ends about to finish, so those figures will change as well.
Jane Bush has got the stream through YouTube up on her TV, so that's pretty awesome, Jane.
Excellent, good work.
Brett Wilkie's trailed it. He's trailed the jack for I'm not too sure how many, for 2 or 3. A lot of bowls around about the same distance away, so hard to tell unless you're actually on the rink, and Ryan Digby will be asking his third for advice here.
Brett Merkel suggests he's going to play his forehand, being a left-hander. He does.
On its way with some weight.
Certainly.
Well, he's made a connection on the shot bowl and moved the shot bowl, but it still might count. Now it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, around about 5 bowls, all, I don't know, equidistant from the jack. Hard to tell exactly who's got who.
Well, the whiz might touch the jack and make all the difference. If any man can do it, he can.
Tommy Lodge watching from Trafalgar. Good on you, Tommy. So here is our CEO, and we must thank Brett Wilkie and Bowls Queensland for making this available.
Yep, firstly inviting us and supporting us all the way this weekend.
He's going to come in the cluster here.
Yeah, look
He's
at
going to
that.
just draw a back toucher himself.
Do you mind?
Gee whiz.
And gets great applause from some of his earlier opponents.
There's 6 or 7 bowls to just sit off and click off there, and he didn't touch any of them. He just drew it cold. Kevin Doherty's streaming through his iPhone and going through Apple TV onto his 65-inch TV screen. How good's that?
That's a way to watch it. Good work.
So all you plebs out there holding your little phone in your hand, have a look at Kev. 65-inch worth.
So Enoggera picked up another 3 at least on rink 2, and they're just measuring for a 4th. There's 4. She's having a look. No, that's been a bit ambitious.
Gee whiz, pick up in the ladies for Enoggera, and it looks like they may now be in front.
Esther Reagan has just, her team has just scored 4 shots, makes them 14-3 against Helensvale. So that's a pretty handy sort of pickup for the girls.
So overall, Enoggera 19, Helensvale 17. So Enoggera taking the lead on the overall scoreboard. Enoggera 19, Helensvale 17.
Yeah, I knew these girls would be no pushover. The Enoggera girls have been very competitive this weekend.
So there's 4 sides obviously in action out there at the moment. 2 of them are unbeaten throughout the tournament. Helensvale men have won all 3 of their games leading into the final, and the Enoggera ladies had 2 wins and a bye. Simon Potter's got off his phone and he's on the TV now. I bet you're happy with that decision, Simon. Jason Curry up the eaglets. So So a lot of love coming in now for Inogra as the ladies are getting up and about.
Okay, on the Wizards rink that you can see on your screen at the moment, it's 7-5 in favour of Helensvale. That's a furthest rink away from us, so to a certain degree we have to rely on our roving cameraman for coverage on that rink. And what you're seeing is what we're seeing pretty much, so we have to call it as we see it on the screen. A little bit far away to make any sort of judgments from this distance as far as who's holding shot or how many.
So Brian Gosford on his forehand. How about that? Pretty good start. Got to be happy with that if you're Ryan Digby. So two very, very close games. There's 2 shots in the women's game.
As there should be at this pointy end of the competition. Let's face it, they've all earned the right to be here. And you don't become champions by coming second all the time.
2 shots the margin in the ladies, 1 shot the margin in the men.
Sarah Duffield with her first on rink 2. On rink 6, looks like Inogra's holding shot.
Some may disagree with me, Phil, the ones who are heavily supporting their particular clubs, but from a neutral point of view, wouldn't you love to see a 1 or 2 shot margin coming in with only an end or 2 left? Grandstand finish in the state finals.
Just like yesterday's last game.
Absolutely. It's great viewing.
It's exciting to watch.
I don't mean to be a downer, but there's sort of nothing worse than a pennant match, a long pennant match being one side and just petering out into a 30-shot win to one team. Not keen on that. Let's get up and about for a grandstand finish, at least in one of these matches.
Okay, for the ladies on rink 1, Helensvale's holding shot, and rink 2, Helensvale's holding shot, and on rink 3, they're just about to start another end. The Wiz marks a toucher for one of his players on rink 6.
So, update of the scores in the men. Helensvale 14, Inogra 11.
After 16 ends.
So we see a lot of bowls on the centre line here. On rink number 6, the Ryan Digby, Brett Wilkie rink. And the jack just tucked in nicely behind the bowl, so difficult to get to.
And that bowl just in front of it is a toucher. So Brett Wilkie will be hoping to sit out the back bowl. The one behind it, I think, is probably second shot and against him.
So Brett Merkel with his first going deep, sailing past as
Anthony Keepy's following his bowl down, his second bowl. He's a bit interested in this.
He's fairly decent down.
Wiz. He's drawn another shot.
Needs to fall over.
That is brilliant. A resting toucher. It's just got its elbow on the top of the jack's head.
Well, that may change the hand for Ryan Digby, and he is calling Brett Merkel to come down now on that backhand. It's just, even though it's only sort of half a bowl, 3/4 of a bowl worth, it's just giving them a touch more of a target.
Yeah. All he has to do is really make that bowl fall over, and the jack will squirt sideways.
Anthony Keepy would have just loved to just get one more roll out of his bowl past the jack.
Even half a roll would be good.
So Brett Merkel now just needs to get down to the bowl. He's not far away.
See what exactly? Yep, that's all he had to do was make that bowl roll over and squirts the jack out.
Ryan Digby isn't doing cartwheels about it.
But I'll tell you what, at least he can see it now.
How he gives a clap, finally.
Made his job a lot easier.
Very, very good bowl from Ryan Digby there. It was the way the head was setting up with all the bowls down the centre line was making things difficult for the skipper. But Brett Merkel, he spat it out into the open a wee bit. So now a bit of a shootout between the skippers.
Mm-hmm. Anxiously following this one of the Wizz's first. Tell you what, he's drawn the absoluter.
Well, he's only 3 inches away this time. He was an inch away last end. He's been playing superb bowls in the last couple of months, Brett Wilkie. Yep. So a question from Jess Parolin, how do we stream live from YouTube? If you just scroll back up into your comments there, we've included a link in one of the comments. So go and hunt for that and let us know how things are going on YouTube. We would like you to stick with us on the Facebook, though. It does get a little bit more interactive here. You can comment and like.
Exactly, yep. A little bit more personal. You can see what other people are saying, how they're thinking.
Hello, Andre from Tassie. Glad you could join us down there, mate.
Here's a beautiful second bowl from Brett Wilkie. It looks like he's holding 2, at least.
Just look at the line he's playing. He's
perfect.
Absolutely nailed his line.
And that was on the wide hand too.
Like there's every chance. He's only 6 inches away with his second one. There's every chance he could have landed it right beside his first shot and made a target. But he's come in behind and finished, giving him absolutely nothing.
Jessie Cottle on rink 1 has just played a couple of blinders for her skip. Kelsey Cottrell.
So Ryan Digby now with a 1-bowl target. Could be a killed end here if he makes a connection on that bowl.
He's certainly got the weight.
Not a million miles away, but just underneath. Gee whiz, he only missed it by about 2 inches.
Got one of the backer bowls, so that's a 4-shot. 4 shots to Helensvale. Wow, that's handy.
Brett Wilkie just showing his class there.
Makes it 12-5 to Helensvale on that rink.
So Brett Wilkie's last 3 bowls, his furthest bowl has been about 5.5 inches away.
On the other 2 rinks, the scores are 3-4. Helensvale on the top of the board, just behind Inogra by 1 point. And I think it's the other rink, it's 4-3. So the other way round on rink 5.
Sonia Batchelor asking, is there an app for the live streaming? Well, I guess the Facebook app, if you're using apps, you can use the Facebook without the app, of course, but no particular app, just through the Facebook app or the YouTube app, I guess.
Hi, Sonia. I hope your face is feeling a little better after the op. Skin cancer removed. Good ball. Just keeping an eye on the ladies' match at the same time. Some great draw bowls being played.
So Mark Thatcher, as we have our split screen back now. So we're back onto the Georgia White, Esther Regan rink on the left-hand side of your screen. And the scores, if you cannot see, in the ladies' match, Enoggera have a 5-shot lead overall. So Helensvale 18, Enoggera 23 after 18 completed ends. As Natalie Nordloff comes down on her forehand.
It's a little closer after 18 ends on the men's match, 14-12 to Helensvale.
So the Georgia White rink. Sarah Duffield is seriously close here. She's seriously close to the jack. She gets half the jack and spits it out the side.
Yeah, just missed with the first one and ended up in the ditch, and much better weighted shot for the second. Gets a piece of the jack, but not enough.
So still 2 down to the one that's around about jack level and the other purpley coloured one. As Lee Fordington looks to add to the count, Esther Regan's getting pretty interested in this. Just needs to settle down. Just needs to whoop. Probably going to be in the count.
Yep, it's in the count.
So smart decision, I think, here from Georgia White. She's thought, no, we'll forget that hand. We'll play down the nice open hand, the drawing hand, and we'll give you 2 cracks at it, Natasha.
Yep. I'll let the wind bring you into the head. She's certainly been generous with the grass.
It's a reasonable sighter.
Yeah.
You know, if she halved that, if she beat that bowl with her, beat her last attempt with her next one, she goes somewhere close to it.
Ends up a foot or so inside the rink marker.
We've got some very humorous comments coming in here, Phil. Mark Haynes wants to know, how do we split the screen? And one of the replies was with an axe.
Yes. Yeah, why not? Or an extremely sharp knife.
It looks like another counter here.
Yep, it's in.
And that's the bowl that Natasha should be looking to beat. She had reasonable weight. Just pinch her grass in a fraction.
Which she's done.
So Georgia White will be
Georgia's interested in this.
wanting this one. She's not a million miles away. She'd love to get onto the jack.
Yes,
she would love to get onto the jack, and she's done it. Natasha Jones, big smile on the face, high fives all round. Sarah Duffield and April Wilson.
Oh gosh, was that me, she said?
Wowee, that was needed, wasn't it?
A top shot.
Thank you for joining us. Another one of our regular viewers, Clinton Bailey. Gee, there's some smiles going on amongst those Helensvale girls at the moment as we see the Youngins man smiling as well. How are you going, Michael Turner, Anthony Keepy, the Wiz? That was a smile of relief from Natasha Jones. So still chances for Esther Regan though. She's thinking about how she can get down to the shot bowl. She has second shots.
Well, Natasha played good weight with the first one. She was just a tad wide, over allowed for the breeze. So
she's having a wee nibble here.
Esther's playing enough weight to change the head.
She was, I tell you what, she
up in the ditch.
Probably wasn't going to get down to the jack, but she wasn't a fair way off it. She just got hooked up on a short bowl, so it was a good sider for Esther.
Yeah, she'll be looking to sit that bowl out for 5, depending on what happens with Georgia's first bowl.
So
if she gets another closey, she probably may not have a run at it.
She just needs to run here, Georgia. She's on a sensational track. Oh no, I tell you, it's sort of given Esther a funnel down there. She can play with a bit more weight if she chooses to. She's going to have to get underneath that Georgia White bowl. So expect a couple more metres of weight here from Esther Regan on her backhand. On its way.
She's wide, I think.
She could come off the Georgia White bowl.
Yep, which she does.
And gets nothing. So big sigh of relief here for the Helensvale girls. This end was
Holding one.
it was turning to custard halfway through the end, but a very, very good bowl from Natasha Jones rescued the equation there. And now Georgia White has a free kick. She has around about 40 centimetres to draw another shot here. Just looking a touch shy on the line here.
It's going to be under.
So
no
one shot
done.
to Helensvale.
Well done.
And
Girls,
they needed that.
Trying to cut the deficit back. They were 15-3 down on the board. That makes it now 4-15. That's on rink 2. On rink 1, the girls are travelling a little better.
Come on, Hawkeye!
Bit of support for the Hawks from the assembled mob, the crowd.
So
The crowd certainly swelled.
we can tell you that Kelsey Cottrell is leading Nolene Dutton 13 shots to 3 after 7 ends on that particular rink.
And it's 6-8. Helensvale just slightly behind on the third rink after 7 ends.
So only 2 in it in the women's game. Enoggera 24, Helensvale 22. Welcome into Mark Watt.
They're gone for the extra short end this time on rink 2 here, the Helensvale girls.
It's back to their
That's
original
good.
tactic, isn't it? They started off the match going short and started very, very well. Esther Regan won an end and lengthened the jack and hadn't looked back since.
This is a pretty good answer.
So young
Very good answer.
Isabella Lawson, good enough for
Good
shot.
girl. Well played.
So April Wilson just needs to really just beat her last bowl. Weight was good. She looks to be on the tight side of it. Only chance is to make a connection on that bowl that she's underneath it. Decent weight though. Thank you, Ben.
Nice cold Coke. Lovely.
So Jason Curry, the Maria Rigby rink, is currently 6 shots all. So Maria Rigby versus Pam Fantini, 6 all after 7 ends. Former teammates, these two played a lot of bowls together. Pam Fantini, of course, formerly Pam Rowe, and Maria Rigby, 2 former Australia players. And Queensland State players, left-hander Pam Fantini.
Sarah Duffield lines up with the backhand. Pretty short this one. Her weight's going to have to be spot on.
Oh yeah, Ben.
She's lining up. She's got a very good line and she's got the jack. Very good, Sarah, and sits for shot. The hard bit will be to repeat it because it's going to be bowls all in her way through there now.
So we welcome in last year's winner, Deann Robertson. Thanks for joining us, Deann.
Makes it very awkward. Yeah, George has changed Sarah's hand. She's just don't sneak under that bowl. With the right weight, you'll make 2.
Thanks for those kind words, Junior. I think the Glenroy side have fared a wee bit better after my departure, after that game at Brunswick.
Yep, that makes 2. Got it off a wide bowl. Doesn't matter how you do it, Sarah.
Interesting little head building up here, and I tell you what, there's a shot on here
She
underneath
might
the
have-
head.
yeah,
For
she'll have to play a little bit of weight through there, I think, and disturb it.
anything can happen off these bowls. If she's wide, she's got options too. If she's narrow, she's got options.
She's looking for the shot bowl, so hit and sit. Oh, do you mind?
I caught it, Phil.
Oh, dear. Yeah, but not quite that way.
Oh, I said no. Wide options, narrow options, anything can happen. The way it was setting up. So, even though it was a jammy shot, so to speak, there's a good call from Esther Regan because she was 2 down. interesting head to play to.
Yep, anything could have happened.
So she made the right shot selection.
She had options.
So if you have a look on your screens now, here's what we're seeing in front of us on green number 1. Stand packed. You may or may not be able to see after we switch around, as we see Bob there with the umbrella hat.
Nolene Dutton's team playing Kelsey Cottrell's team. Kelsey Cottrell from Club Helensvale, Nolene from Minogra. And they're having a fair old match here. That's a beautiful draw ball. A beautiful draw ball. Look at that. Thank you very much, says Nolene.
Emma Spicer, front toucher.
I'll take that any day.
Yeah, Junior, I thought that was the case, so I just jumped the gun a bit there, mate. Not sure who the mouse is, but not sure what you're referring to there. Hubs. Interesting little convo on the older Snapchat last night, mate. Good to see everyone up and about and enjoying themselves. So thank you for joining us, Gail Pratt. Bev Peters watching from Mount Isa. So as we see Kelsey Cottrell now.
She'll probably want to just arrive on that bowl and push the shot bowl through. Squeeze the jack out, make it available with her next bowl or for her next bowl.
Just needs to hold a fraction. She's down looking for the second shot. If she can hold, she gets the shot. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So
still one down.
So Emma Spicer with the finger measure.
Yep.
All sorts of laughy ha-ha emojis going on here.
So Emma Spicer has called her skip on the backhand. Just play under those bowls. There's a nice little channel for you there. The wind will help you in. Give it enough grass. You can set a Helensvale bowl out and make 2 or possibly 3, or it's going to just collect something on the way in. Yeah.
She had brilliant weight down to the jack there, Nolene Dutton.
Yep. Just a shade on the narrow side. So Amanda's thinking a shot for her skip.
Kelsey's going, help. What do I do, mate? What do you want?
Got 2 or 3 seconds, so if she can sit that shot bowl out. What do you think?
Well, the suggestion was to play down sharp again. She's weighing it up. The old sway of the head and shoulders, not too sure. I think she just might...
she'll play backhand onto the bottom of the shot bowl, I think.
No mucking around. I think she's going to go quick here.
Yep.
On its way.
The backhand swinger onto the shot bowl to try and clear it out and make 3, but she misses by a good bowl and a half. So Nolene has come down to the head and had a look to see what she needs to do. Once you get that picture in your mind, it makes the shot a little easier, I tend to think. Once you can actually see the shot or see the result of the shot you want to play in your head.
Just little psychological things too. I mean, they're 13 shots to 3 behind, but now they're holding the shot. So if she can get it in her team's minds, look, the more time we're spending while holding the shot, it just gives them that little burst of motivation and momentum. We're holding here, girls. I'll walk down to the mat slowly, and I'll try and add you another one, and then it's your jack. Let's get back into the game, says Nolene Dutton.
That's a little wide. She's overcorrected with that one. Amanda Havek looking very closely before they decide to give the shot away. Although I think Emma's fairly happy it is their shot.
Green speed, Ben. Yep. I would approximate it around about 15 and a half seconds. Would you agree, Phil?
Yep, that would pretty much bring it up.
Glad we could help, Ben.
So, one shot to Inogra on rink 1. Makes them 13-4 after 8. And the score is just about to alter the main board. 25 to Inogra, 26 to Helensvale after 24 ends. So Helensvale girls have just got their noses in front over the 3 rinks. And rink 1 is helping them with that very, very slight margin. Being ahead by 13-4. Being ahead by 9-6 on rink 3 and behind on rink 2. Fairly convincingly.
I can tell you in the men's overall scoreboard, it is 6 shots in favour of Helensvale, so 21 to 15. And Brett Wilkie's just plucked out the shot bowl as well, so that's helped the cause. They were at least 1 down. So Ryan Digby now left-hander on his backhand, sorry.
One of those.
Very confusing.
Okay, he's finishing reasonably well, and he's drawn a cracker there.
So 2 shots.
2 shots to Inogra.
So 21-17 overall scoreboard. Helensvale 21, Inogra 17.
They're not letting Helensvale get away with much at all. They're making a good match of this.
So 4 shots in the men's match and only a single-digit margin in the ladies. Helensvale 26, Inogra 25.
In the ladies, and the men's 21-15.
That'll be updated to 17, so only 4 the margin there, as we see a nice wee shot of the crowd and supporters. Decent crowd, a couple of 100 people here, 200 or 300 people.
Easily. And a lot of them would be former competitors. When I say former, I mean have played this weekend and have stayed on to watch the final. That's good sportsmanship. There's nothing in it for the rest of the teams apart from to watch this final match being played out to its conclusion.
So a good start from Brian Cosford there, leading for Ryan Digby. Jack right back on the tee. Matt a wee way up, about a 3/4, 2/3 length end here. It's Mark Thatcher. Great reply there. He's got the shot. So we play 63 ends, all 3 rinks on each. In each game, play 21 ends for a total of 63, and we have completed 24 ends of the men, 24 ends of the women.
We saw a couple of matches not quite go to their 63 ends this morning because the result, the win or loss result, couldn't have been altered by those last 3 ends. So the match committee allows you to declare the match finished at 60 ends, if you both agree. So 2 of the matches we saw this morning took an early mark at 60 ends.
So Phil, there's some very, very good comments coming in here from the viewers. One of the questions, who's the top 3 players on the green right now? Well, the first name that comes to mind is Brett Wilkie, is absolutely on fire at the moment.
He's in great touch. He certainly is in great touch. We haven't seen a lot of the men's play, unfortunately. They're on the rinks furthest away from us, so we're not exactly overlooking those. But as far as the ladies' matches go, Esther Reagan's team is playing some beautiful bowls, and the scoreboard shows it.
Natalie Nordloff, operating at second, has been very, very solid.
She certainly has.
So Ben Hubber, my 3 Brownlow votes at the moment are going to go Brett Wilkie 3 votes, Kelsey Cottrell 2 votes, and Natalie Nordloff 1 vote. They're my 3 best 3 players on the green.
The 2 shots we saw earlier of Anthony Keepy would put him up into that category. Absolutely beautiful 2 bowls. He drew toucher, and then he drew second shot just behind the jack, which was beautiful to watch.
48 players out on the green, of course, so very difficult to narrow it down to just 3. One of the players I've been pretty impressed with, I know it's not what you're watching right now, but if you can hear me, leading for Nolene Dutton is for Enoggera.
On ring 2, the umpires just decided that Enoggera had the shot after a very close measure.
Amy Evans, the 22-year-old from Enoggera, she's been very, very impressive. So Anthony Keepy now on his forehand, looking to add to the Mark Thatcher shot. If he can get onto that other green one, he may be able to promote that in for shot 2, but he's
just a foot or so short.
That's all. So we're joined by Ryan Bester, and Ryan, if you'd be able to do us a favour, mate, and click that share button. If you could share this post, mate. You're watching the Bowls Queensland Division 1 State Pennant Finals, men and women, both finals being fought out between Enoggera and Helensvale. So Enoggera from the Brisbane district and Club Helensvale from the Gold Coast Tweed. Home club, if you like, even though they're a good 40 minutes from home.
Yes, playing on neutral ground at Tweed Heads, even in another state. If you happen to hear us refer to time, we are playing all these matches on Queensland time. Speaking of time, there is a time limit to each of these matches, by the way, or each of these games. 3 hours and 45 minutes is considered plenty of time to complete your 21 ends, but we haven't seen any or heard any bells being rung to signal time over the weekend at all. So most sides have managed to complete, or most teams have managed to complete their 21 ends well within the allotted time. And I guess with greens running about 15... Oh, good shot. With greens running about 15 seconds or 15 to 15 and a half seconds, there's no reason why you should take any more than about 3 hours to complete your game. Kelsey Cottrell just played a beautiful up shot to get the jack and kill it.
I get a little bit grumpy every time I watch Kelsey play good bowls, and I'll tell you why, Phil. I'll tell you why. A long, long time ago, well, not really that long, I shouldn't say that about Kelsey, she's still only in her mid to late 20s, but when she was around about 13 or 14, Kelsey came over to New Zealand. Of course, she was born in New Zealand, but she had a trip over with her mother and played in the national championships. I think as a 13-year-old, she was a tiny little thing, had only been playing bowls a couple of years. She was very, very impressive, and there was a conversation with Kelsey and her family about the possibility of representing New Zealand at under 18 level. Of course, you know, as I said, born in New Zealand, but Bowls New Zealand decided no, we are not going to pursue that. And she lives in Australia, etc, 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 and the rest is history. Gone on to play hundreds of games for Australia, gold medals everywhere. You just wonder if that's a decision that Bowls New Zealand will have regretted, but anyhow, we all move on.
Probably that administration has moved on themselves by now, and somebody else is in the chair.
Quite right, Phil. And I'm certain that Kelsey wouldn't be regretting her decision, even though I know she loves the All Blacks, and she would have been very...
Really?
Yeah, it's her
Good on her.
favourite sports team in the world, the All Blacks.
Good on her. Gee, there's a bit of activity for various All Black teams this weekend too, with the main team, the Maori All Blacks, and the women's Black Ferns all playing.
Magnificent victory last night, coming from 15-0 down.
Enlighten me.
Oh, England were playing superb at the start of the match. They got one up on the ABs pretty early, but as they do, they fought their way back, the All Blacks, and held on for a 16-15 win at Twickenham. Incredible match.
Wow, that's leaving it close.
Gee whiz, she's caught the outside edge of that
She
ball,
won a good
Natasha.
shot. Good shot. She just did enough with that bowl. Got enough of the bowl to roll it into shot. And that looks like one of Sarah's bowls. Just got rolled in. Sarah Duffel playing for Helensvale. Playing second. In fact, for Georgia.
So if you're sitting at home watching, you know, we're not even halfway through these games, so there's still plenty of time to go, still at least an hour and a half of play to go. So if you haven't done so already, why not join us? You know, join us by sharing. So we're...
We have a guest, Zaya Morgan from the Inogra Club. Zaya, you've done the job for your team this weekend, got them into the finals. I guess you were pretty happy to see that.
Yes, very good result for us. I personally played the first round against Algester. Team overall, we got up. Then we put in our reserve Gloria to take my place and qualify. She played at the second round against Harvey Bay for us. The team again went up, and then we ended up in the finals. We
Excellent.
had a bye.
And the girls are doing really well here. There's nothing in this match against Helensvale.
Yes.
Do you have a prediction? I've got to ask that.
Well, at every game that we've played so far, it has been Nolene Dutton's team that's got the big scores. And the girls have made a comeback. I was watching the overall scoreboard. Helensvale was 17 and we were 6. We fought back to 15 and now there's only 1 point difference.
Yeah. You've been able to watch the match so far?
Yes, getting a front row seat.
Some absolutely good ends being played. There's a little bit of luck has gone against each team both ways, but you know that's bowls, I guess. How long have you enjoyed this sport, Zaya?
I've been bowling almost 3 years now.
Okay, and where did you start?
I started at Capella Bar and Russell Island, where I live. I went to roll up at Russell Island after I had a house fire and a set of bowls was donated. Then Russell had to close for maintenance and my grandfather works at Capella Bar.
Okay.
So I was a member there for 3 years. And then just this start of the Pennant season, Maria Rigby got me to sign a 2-year contract to Inogra.
Awesome, well done. Speaking of Russell Island, they have their open fours this
yes.
weekend. Will you be joining us?
Unfortunately not.
No?
Inogra has a Lachlan Tie weekend, training week. But Russell Island Bowls Club has been kind enough to donate items that we can sell off, sausages for the bowlers.
Yep.
They offer to pay for or help pay towards my accommodation for the upcoming states. And just everyone on Russell and the community said they'll come down, help out, and it's a fundraiser on the 17th.
Brilliant. That's it's a very hospitable club. We've managed to send at least one team from Beenleigh to to Russell Island every year, and we've had some mixed results. And so we're looking forward to going back again this coming weekend with the pairs event on the Friday and the Open for Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so we have the split screen again. We're looking at rinks 2 and 6. Rinks 2 is the ladies' match between Georgia White's team and Esther Regan's team. And Esther Regan's team are comfortably ahead at this stage, 16-4. Which is making up for a little deficit in the other ones. The Helensvale team comfortably ahead on rink 1, 13-4, and just ahead on rink 3, 10-8. So it looks like Esther's team are making up the deficit and just hanging in there too. You play much with Esther?
No, I haven't actually. This whole Pennant season I have been Maria's lead, and swapping out with Gloria, so both of us could qualify.
That'd be a brilliant experience playing with Maria all the time.
Yes, it's a wonderful experience. I'm lucky to have her as my coach.
As well as coach, great.
Yes, yeah. And 3 other juniors at Inogra also on the Queensland team with me. You
mentioned the state championships. What age group? Is it open?
I competed in the under-15s.
Okay.
Next year will be my last year in that category, and then I will be in the under-18s for 3 more years.
Righto. Very best of luck with that. If you'd like to have a look at some of these shots being played, you're quite welcome to call the game with me. Looking at, looks like the men milling around down at the moment, but we're just overlooking rinks 1 and 2 in our broadcast position. Rink. That looks like rink 6 down there, Zaya.
Yes, Ryan Digby's team.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we watch the men, it's always interesting to watch all the 3 different teams. They all socialise. They all run across, say good shots.
Ah, dear. The Wiz has just come off a short bowl into the head, picked the jack up and followed it through for shot.
Like you said, some luck against both teams.
Mm-hmm. So there's not a lot in the men's game now. After 29 ends, the Helensvale men are just ahead by 2, and the ladies there's only 1 difference, 27-26 in favour of Helensvale. So this is a really good game. It's about just a little over the third of each match being completed now, and very, very tight results. The Air Force is coming in for a look by the sound of things. Look at that. Oh, has he snuck past to get it? Yes, he has. Yeah, Ryan has just snuck past that bowl of the Whizzes to take shot. Now here's a choice, Zaya. You're right-hander?
Yes.
What would you play if this was your shot? If you were the Whiz looking at that head, how would you play?
I'd say backhand, coming under the green bowl that I can see from here.
Yeah, that's what Anthony Keepy's calling.
Just either sit my own one through or just come under and go through.
He's also got the opportunity to push onto his own bowl and sit the shot bowl out of Ryan Digby. Let's see what he does. He's let it go. He's playing the backhand. Not a bad line. He's just a little wide. Will he get it off this one? Oh, come on. Come on. Anthony lifts his hat as Brett Wilkie gets another kind rub off a wider bowl and goes into the head for shot. So, another decision now. Probably going to be a bit hard to draw it. They're both looking from the backhand side into the head.
Possibly trying to follow him down, set the shot through.
what's he going to play? He's on the mat thinking about it. Looks like he's going to play forehand as he called, Zaya. He's not playing any weight, so he's over draw weight, obviously, so he's looking for a result off a wider bowl, perhaps. There's one, there's another, there's a third. No, he missed the third. Okay, so they go one down. So Helensvale picks up one shot through the whiz of the wizard, getting a couple of kind rubs there. We might have a look at one of the ladies' games shortly, Zay. You might want to get your commentary stripes. We
Yes.
call one of the girls' games.
Amy rolling the jack for Inogra.
How are we going, Zaya?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Oh, good. Pretty exciting stuff.
Great starter from Amy.
She's impressed me a lot over the last 2 days, Zaya.
Yes, I'm sure everyone has their good days and bad days, and Amy's going she's going well.
So that's Amy Evans we're referring to. I think she's only been playing bowls 4 or 5 years. Very deliberate, very focused, steely determination, doesn't give much away. Not a massive amount of emotion.
You can tell she picks her point on the green and follows it through.
Absolutely. So there's still nothing in these games. Inogra 30, Helensvale 27. In the women's, and only a couple of shots in the men as well. So Nolene Dutton asking for a change of hand here. This hand is definitely the tighter side of the rink, isn't it, Zaya?
Yes, the wind blowing in opposite direction. It's definitely harder. Just
Well, that
knocking in
was
wrong shot.
unfortunate, wasn't it?
Yes.
So she's got onto the Jessie Cattell bowl. As Yvonne Lovelock now just has a free rein down the forehand. Send it out quite wide, a fair bit of turning to do, but you never know, she might get a big gust.
Yes.
She's coming in nicely now. All she needs to do is have decent weight and she might count. Maybe.
Nolene calling the same hand again for Eileen.
So the rink score on rink number 6 is 17 shots to 7 in favour of Helensvale's Brett Wilkie. Jared?
Yvonne Lovelock going on her forehand again.
She's definitely played it different this one, hasn't she?
Yes. Tighter line, just lost the weight.
So at the moment concentrating on the Nolene Dutton of Inogra and Kelsey Cottrell of Club Helensvale rink. So Emma Spicer lines up on the forehand. She'll just be happy with second shot here, Nolene Dutton. Shot bowl, not far away from the jack at all. I suggest she's going to go pretty close to the shot bowl here. Going to go very close, just underneath it. She gets second shot, so be happy with that result. Perfect weight. So we're approaching not too far away off the halfway mark of both of these games. 28 and 29 ends respectively played. And Amanda Havoc just needs to get past that front stuff. Perfect track, but about a metre or so shy. She'll just look to add a touch with her next. There's Emma Spicer. She went very, very close last time.
Just trying to correct her line.
Got it away really well. Just looks to be a touch shy this time. It's easy to do that, I guess, on a fairly long end with a bit of breeze. You need to miss your line of weight by a fraction. You get punished a wee bit.
Yes.
So we welcome in Cheryl Hutchinson. Thank you for joining us, Cheryl. So she sent it out on a nice high arc here. Has Amanda Havoc arcing him back towards the jack now. It'll be past the head. So Kelsey's quite happy with that result. Getting a lot of love here, Zaya. Jacinta Morgan says hello.
Say hello back.
So for anyone out there who hasn't clicked that share button and shared the feed, we need you to do that, please. What we also need you to do is we're going to take another poll. You know, it's no point doing a poll on who you think's going to win if there's 20 or 30 shots of diff, but there's only 3 shots of diff, so let us know who you think is going to run out the winner in this one.
Go the Eagles.
Thought you might say that, Zaya.
Maybe.
So what's coming up next for you, mate, if you haven't been asked that already?
I believe it's Premier League. We'll be starting next year.
So not a massive amount between now and Christmas, but then after the New Year, Premier League.
Yes.
It'll be exciting.
Then back to school, and then off to the Queensland state titles for under 15 and under 18s.
And where are they held, mate?
They'll be at Caloundra next year, I believe.
Very good. So Kelsey Cottrell opting to plug down the backhand. She just needs to get under that second shot of Emma Spicer's. A little bit of turn, and she just collected the wrong side of it. Had a decent enough weight. If she'd collected the other side of it, she would have fallen in for a counter. So Nolene Dutton now just looking to dead draw the shot. You would suspect the way that Emma Spicer is giving her a foot guide with jack level. Sent it out quite wide, and I wouldn't have thought it'd get back to the jack on that line, Taya. Zaya even. So, overall scores in the men, Helensvale 30, Enoggera 25 after 33 completed ends. And we'll get a score update in just a sec, as there's not too many bowls to be played on this end. So Kelsey Cottrell doesn't look like she's going to make it back anywhere near the centre line with that one, just holding out on it. She's looking to play that Emma Spicer bowl through the head, but she just sent it out a bit wide. So 1 to Helensvale. We might just do a little rejig of our seats if we can here, Zaya, if that's okay. Thanks, buddy. So that's a pretty cool little almost a bird's eye view, a little aerial shot there behind the Kelsey Cottrell Nolene Dutton rink. As we're joined by Mitchell Mears. So a few of our regulars joining us again. Brett Davis, Jay Dorr. Stick with us, folks. I have a feeling, Zaya, that this is going to come right down to the wire.
It never has before, but it may this time.
So if you're just joining us, we probably haven't run through the team lists for a while. So if you're wondering who's playing on what rinks, on this particular rink we have for Helensvale, Kelsey Cottrell, Amanda Havocker, Yvonne Lovelock and Jessie Cattell. They are facing the Enoggera side consisting of Nolene Dutton, Emma Spicer, Eileen Swanson and Amy Evans. On the next rink over, for Enoggera, Esther Regan has an 18-shot to 4 advantage over Georgia White. So Esther Regan's rink consisting of Lee Fordington, Natalie Nordloff and Isabella Lawson. Georgia White's rink consisting of Natasha Jones at number 3, Sarah Duffield and young April Wilson. And on the last remaining rink, Pam Fantini has an 11-shot to 8 advantage over Maria Rigby. So Pam Fantini, Rosie White, Teresa Armitage and Brenda Bolchin. They lead Maria Rigby, Faye Clark, Wendy Peach and Gloria Gillespie. It's a nice hot day, Nathan. All right. So Phil Brandon's picking Enoggera in a close one here as we're joined by one of our toners' finest, Matthew Renix. As the crowd goes wild for a bit of Esther Regan theatrics here. So you've moved from our toner, haven't you, Rexy, at the Moonee Valley now? Well, I'll tell you what, Esther Regan and Maria Rigby, they've just had a couple of results go their way here and the crowd's getting up and about. Zaya?
Yes, definitely. Maria knocking out 2 shots, I believe, from 2 down to possibly 3 up.
So a great result there from Maria Rigby, and I do apologise, Chris Hooper. Sorry about that, Hoops. Not much we can do about that. Thanks for joining us, Stewart Island. So things just starting to go Enoggera's way now. Is a wayward one played there from Georgia White. She's looking for a bit of a Hail Mary there. So Emma Spicer now down on her forehand side on the tight side of the rink. Nolene Dutton urging this one on. So that may be good enough for second shot there. So Amanda Havocker, who'll just be looking to draw as close as she possibly can. And on her backhand side, on the wide side of the rink. I'm sure you've been asked this before, Zaya, but not by me. And very good bowl there from Amanda. She's got second shot. But how many years have you been playing for, Zaya?
3 coming up.
3 years. It's a fantastic effort to be in your Division 1 team playing in the state finals. So
Yes.
pretty awesome, mate.
Yep.
So Emma Spicer, she wasn't a million miles away with her first effort as she plugs on down on the forehand. Nolene Dutton getting pretty interested again. She's got seriously good weight here. She's going to get onto the shot bowl, and she does. She's going to flick around hang around for second shot, probably suggest a measure. What are your thoughts there, Phil? What do you think, Zaya? 1, 2? Definitely the one, suggesting 2. Thank you for sharing, Barbara Green. It's a good shot of the crowd here at Tweed Head. So Kelsey Cottrell now on her backhand. Giving it nice high green there. Perfect speed as it turns out, just a touch wide from Kelsey. She could use that jack level bowl and get in for the shot. So if you're just joining us and wondering what's going on, it's the Bowls Queensland State Pennant Finals for the men and the ladies. Helensvale versus Enoggera in both matches. You're backing Nolene in with this one, Zaya?
Yes, definitely.
Got to say that, don't you?
She's always gotten the big scores in all our other games.
Is that right?
Shouldn't be any different.
Tell you what, she's not far away. You might have picked this. If she can rest that bowl out, she'll make 3. So 3 shots there to Nolene Dutton, and she hasn't fattened the target too much at all. Still really only about a 1.5 bowl target, you'd suspect. Kelsey Cottrell asking the question of Amanda Haffager, what do you want me to do? Possibility she may come up the forehand side with lots of weight, looking to make connection on the shot bowls and the jack. Any sort of reduction in the count or a kill will be a good result here. Just not too sure what would happen. Can't see the head at the moment if she took out her closest bowl. Could even be a couple more, perhaps Zaya, if she takes out her own, so she might not go quick at this.
Well, it's all about taking risks.
Absolutely. So, no guts, no glory, you reckon?
Yes, definitely.
Well, she's not scared of playing the big shots, and as a lot of the ladies aren't these days. A lot of the ladies play with fairly big weight, but Kelsey seems to play about as quick as anybody. She plays them fairly firm, fairly sharp. Be interesting to see what weight she chooses to play down to this. Looks like she is on the forehand. Is it a draw or just over the draw, looking to trail the jack, or is she going big? Or something in the middle, isn't it?
Yes, not straight to the ditch.
She's not a mile away here. Just needs to hold. She's gone. Gee whiz, she's got the jack back up the green. And she's got the shot out of it. Unbelievable. Well, to be fair to her, she had perfect weight for the shot, and her green must, she was an inch off perfect. So yes, even though a touch fortunate, she was an inch away from being perfect. So you can't argue with that. So it's not often you see the jack go back up the green, Zaya.
No. We're always told put the bowls behind the jack, but that just proves that can bounce forward and come back into play.
Absolutely. I think there's even been some statistics being produced about the percentage, how many times the jack goes forward during a day or whatnot. It's very, very low. So question from Barbara Green as we'll just get back to that after this final bowl at the end from Nolene Dutton. Big bowl. Helensvale do have the 2 bowls at the back, so that is in their favour. How many seconds do they have? Any idea here, Zaya?
Looks like 2 from here.
Just looks like she's just playing with controlled weight just to sit out the bowl or trail the jack. She needs to turn down to the shot bowl, get on the inside of it. She's done it. Absolutely brilliant.
Appears to be 3.
That is sensational. She's just had enough weight on that to turn it enough times for 2 and a measure. And you could be right, Zaya. It could be enough for 3. So brilliant bowling from both skippers here. 3 shots. Absolutely brilliant. So they extend their lead. The Enoggera Eagles and the women's, they're down to out to 35 as we take a look at one of the other heads here, the Georgia White Esther Regan rink. So Enoggera 35, Helensvale 29. Massive end there, Zaya.
Yes.
So we see a bit of weight here from Esther Regan.
Yes, she likes her.
She needs to negotiate those front 2. She's close here, very close. She's got the jack. She sliced the jack out to the corner of the rink. And what's going on here? Suggest 1 to Helensvale.
Yes.
So that pink, that tri-coloured pink and purple bowl in front of the jack. So question from Barbara Green. Which are the Eagles and which are the Hawks? So the Helensvale Hawks, the green and gold side from Helensvale on the Gold Coast, and the Enoggera Eagles from Brisbane. So Georgia White now on her forehand with the yellow bowls coming back towards the camera. Just needs to run. Needs to hurry. If she can hurry a bit more and get past that bowl, she might be. No. So she's about a metre short there, Georgia. Yes, hoops. That's Nathan Shuey Lee on the roaming camera, doing a magnificent job. He's walked about a marathon's worth of distance over the last 2 days.
On and off the green.
Yeah, he's certainly done some Ks, Zaya.
The fancy umbrella hat.
Looks good, doesn't it?
Yep.
You in the market for one of them for Christmas, mate?
Well, I know Faye Clark is. She wanted one.
Good for activities like fishing. Nothing like a bit of sunbaking with an umbrella hat. Also good for looking like a complete goose.
Yep. Nathan's done it well.
He's covering all angles, so Esther Regan's got shot here, but that's given Georgia White a target. So she's got a bit of a jack bowl target, which she's not shy in reaching here. Not massive weight, but she's got weight enough for the ditch. Looking for the bowl or the jack. She has second shot. Jack into the ditch would be very, very helpful for Club Helensvale. Georgia White here looks for the jack. She sunk it into the ditch for at least 1. Brilliant shot from Georgia White. Maximum length end to a spilt jack. And it looks as though she's made 2 of it. They will measure into the ditch, which is, of course, can sometimes be a little bit difficult, but definitely 1, and the second one's obviously close if they're measuring. That was a great shot, played with controlled weight. She didn't go big at it, did she? So confirmation, 1 shot to Georgia White there with the very last bowl of the end. Sank the jack right in the belly into the sand. So we look at the Brett Wilkie, Ryan Digby rink now, and a fairly tight, packed, compact head here that Anthony Keepy has to play to. He's going to make his way towards the back of the rink with that one when Brett Wilkie won't be unhappy about that. So you can just feel the intensity just starting to rise, can't you, Zaya?
Yes, definitely.
I know that they are playing for sheep stations here, so thank you very, very much for joining us, Zaya, and look, whatever the result is, you've got to be happy with your teammates and your trip down here to the Tweed Heads this weekend, mate. So
Yes.
thank you very
Good
much.
break. Thank you.
Not a problem. And all the best for whatever the future holds for you in the game of lawn bowls. Very impressive young lady she is.
She is, yeah.
Got a bright future.
Started bowling at 13, been bowling for 3 years. This will be her last year for the under, or 15 and unders. Okay. We've just seen some great bowls from Georgia and Esther in that last end. And eventually Georgia triumphed with a bowl to take that jack into the ditch and make just the one shot. So we're looking at rink 6 at the moment. The Helensvale Enoggera match. The game is between Brett Wilkie's team and Ryan Digby's team from Enoggera. Digby's just studying the head with his third at the moment, discussing a shot. And I guess once they reach a consensus, Digby will make his way, Ryan Digby will make his way back to the mat and attempt to carry out the instructions of himself and his third. Can you see who's holding shot there at all, mate? I can't from this angle. Is it Helensvale? That's a Helensvale bowl on the
blue one's
right?
definitely
Yeah.
Helensvale. I think
Okay.
it's the Michael Turner bowl. Looks as though it could be one to Enoggera, but it's hard to tell off that angle.
Well, he's playing. It looks like he's playing on to that shot bowl of Helensvale's, or the bowl of Helensvale's, I should say. But he just didn't quite make it. He's a little over a foot short. Brett Wilkie now looking at his options, talking with Anthony Keepy to discuss their shot, or Brett's shot. Yeah,
It's an interesting head, isn't it? Plenty of options, plenty of angles to work with it.
Talking about taking that bowl out, so I guess it must be against them, is it? That blue bowl.
He's talking about coming.
Anthony just pointed at it and sort of flicked his hand.
He's talking about using the blue bowl to click off the other one, the red one behind, the Enoggera bowl. So plenty of options, plenty of bowls short of the jack, plenty to come off. So expect plenty of weight here from Brett Wilkie. It's on its way. Well, what that has done is made things slightly easier with his second attempt. He's got a clearer path to it.
Unless Ryan puts one back where it was. Brett Wilkie collected Ryan's first bowl, but he put just a foot or so short and put it off its line. So Ryan's perhaps going for a little cover again, or maybe getting in Brett Wilkie's way. I have a feeling that first bowl was fairly deliberately short. This one has a little more running on it. Comes to rest just behind the immediate cluster behind the jack.
Brett Wilkie wasting no time here. He knows there's an opportunity, playing the same shot, and he's not a million miles away here. Oh, gee whiz, I tell you what, he was every chance of coming off that little shelf and clicking out the shot bowl. He must have only missed by an inch there. So one shot to Enoggera, and they close things up there. 17 shots to 11 in favour of Brett Wilkie on that particular rink.
And Ryan Digby's just asked for it to be put on the tee and rolled to the tee, so he's going to stretch it out.
Where can you go? Women's, maybe this one here, number 2.
Brian Cosford has rolled not quite the length that Ryan Digby wanted, but Ryan says that's okay. He just stretched it out a bit, make them work for their money. Cosford lines up with his first. Playing the forehand, the wider hand. He's been quite happy to play the wide hand this afternoon and let that wind help his bowl into the J. And he's
Great
played
start.
another great start.
We're joined by Nathan Lynch and showing you how to lead, Lynchy. It's a great start there. He's actually been pretty impressive, Brian Cosford, this game. Him and Mark Thatcher have had a real battle up front. And
Thatcher puts one with good grass and a metre or so behind the jack. Brian Cosford lines up with his second. No improvement needed. Just play the same as your first. He's got a little more weight. He's going to get round behind and make it the best back so far.
so Mark Thatcher, left-hander. We're looking to just drop a metre or two of weight here, and he's on zone for the jack here. I'll tell you what. He's got a piece of it. No, he's just
through the hole. Yeah,
bit of
holes for
skipping
balls,
involved
mate.
there for Mark Thatcher.
I've watched a bit of Peter Leon playing this weekend, and he has that walking stick with the big foot on it to help him as he bends over. And he's played some pretty good bowls this tournament, from what I've seen.
He's a big part of the culture of any team that he's in. And speaking about being part of a team, we must make mention of the Club Helensvale women. A lady who's not playing in this particular game, but has played at stages throughout the weekend, is Joanne Stockdale. Now, Joanne Stockdale provided us with the most amazing cupcakes yesterday afternoon that you have ever seen.
Oh, so she was the chef, cook, whatever.
They were sensational.
Were they?
And just us talking about it is doing
You
it.
didn't hold yourself back, did you?
No, I had one or two cupcakes.
One or two. Yeah.
You know, us talking about it's doing it no justice. What you want to do is you want to jump over to Joanne Stockdale's Facebook page, which is Joe's, J-O''S, Joe's Wacky Colour Cakes. She does everything. So when Lindsay Clark's had a baby, she's made a big, beautiful birthday cake for her. All the Helensvale girls, when they've had 21sts and engagement parties and whatnot, Joanne's the one that provides the cake for them. So make sure you go to her Facebook page, Joe's Wacky Colour Cakes. I tell you what, they were just sensational.
Well, this end that's being played on rink 6 at the moment, certainly not one of the best. Bowls all over the place. I guess that change of length hasn't helped them find their weight. Speaking of change of length, Georgia White on rink 2 has asked for a real shorty, which her leader's given her. So Brett Merkel playing third for Ryan Digby, looking to improve on that one shot they're holding.
Yep.
Just want to slips. Oh, he's outside it. Okay.
So we're joined by one of the players that played this weekend and played very, very well, is Stephen Wood of Leichhardt Services right up in Mount Isa. And I can tell you, on the ladies' rinks now, we are all tied up after 39 ends. It is Helensvale, 39. Enoggera, 39. After 39 ends. It couldn't get any tighter than this, Phil.
There is a slight advantage to Helensvale in the men's match after 38 ends. Helensvale leading by 7, 36-29. So that really is not insurmountable by any means, with a bit over half the match played. So skips walk to the head now. Brett Wilkie and Ryan Digby to play their bowls because Inogra won the last 10. Ryan Digby's first up. Looks to be playing backhand. He's urging it on. It's a bit short one end, by about 2 metres or so.
Just if we refer again to the conditions out there, Phil, the wind, it hasn't died down at all. If anything, it's picked up even a touch over the last few minutes. But it's definitely staying consistently breezy.
It hasn't worried Amanda Hayvecker playing on ring 1. She's just put in 2 great shot bowls. Back to the men on ring 6, and Keepy indicates they're one down, only one down, so neither skip has made an impression.
Just bowl.
Okay. So ring 3. We'll do ring 3.
And Ryan Digby is looking to improve on his first. He certainly had the legs, sneaks around behind by a metre or so, and sits in front of one of Anthony Keepy's bowls. So Anthony's saying, he's got a finger in there saying we're at 1. Maybe he's saying 1 second.
Go to ring 3 this end.
Because it's definitely the Inogra bowl holding a shot on that rink. So he's called...
Definitely weight, big weight in the forehand here.
Called Brett
running weight.
A weighted shot, which Brett is obliged with.
He's seriously close here. Just needs to get down a fraction. Anything could happen off that bowl. Brilliant.
One on to another, on to a third. Good snooker player, huh?
Thank you very much, Jan Morty Morden. She's put the link up there for Joe's wacky colour cakes. So measuring all around here on the Helensvale rink. Don't forget that you guys can don't just sit there watching. Get interactive. There's nothing better than us being able to communicate with you. We can see every button you press, every like you press. So let's do a little test here. We want everyone right now to smash that like button, the blue Facebook thumbs up. We can see them all streaming through, so we want to see them streaming through right now. Smash that thumbs up button. Like. I can see them all coming through here now. Don't hold back, fellas.
Okay, what you see on your screen is rink 3, the ladies' match. A very close one, 13-11 to Helensvale at the moment on that particular game. That is, we haven't seen much of these particular ladies. Pamela Fantini's team against Marie Rigby's.
Yep.
And on rink 1, it would appear that Kelsey Cottrell's just made 4 shots.
It's going to be close. You're not going to be able to do presentation.
Can you just keep an eye on it?
So well done. All your likes are streaming through as Maria Rigby coming down here in a forehand. Just needs to negotiate that white bowl. Able to do so, and that may even be shot now.
Nothing's too close.
There you go, Harrison. There's Mum. There's Rosie. So Rosie White there operating as third to Pam Fantini. There's Mum waving her arms around and giving directions and putting her feet all over the green.
This is the one you have to beat.
She's giving this a clap too. Yeah. Just all down to her weight now. She should come home from there if her weight's good.
Yes.
Very good bowl from Pam Fantini. Very good shot.
That would appear to be shot. There's nothing particularly close on that end yet, and Maria Rigby still has a bowl to play.
So here's Riggers, one of Queensland's finest over the years. On her forehand. Just on the draw. Couple of options through here, couple of gaps she needs to negotiate.
Does she have the weight?
Weight looks reasonable if she can negotiate that green one. Just click the outside of it, so...
Gets in her way, so no change. It looks like the Helensvale girls might have one, although...
I'd suggest at least 2 here.
Okay.
Possibly more. Could be 3 or 4, I'd suggest. So a good count here. There's 3 they've already taken out, and they may even get the measure out now. So a good end for Rosie White, Pam Fantini. Searching around for maybe the closest bowl, and they'll go from there. So Georgia White's rink, they've scored again, and they're getting up and about now. April Wilson laying the mat down. As Rosie White goes around in a big circle and measures all the bowls. So that deadlock is going to be broken now, Phil. 39 shots each, and at least 3, you'd think.
That's a good pickup so far. They have 3. This will be close. That's 4. She's still looking. No. Oh, maybe.
So next door, Georgia White has called an absolute minimum length end, which April Wilson has rolled beautifully. Mat right back on the tee, and the jack must be less than a metre over the line.
So was that 5 to Helensvale?
I think it could have been.
About to see. They're about to change the board.
So we'll stay on this rink for a little while longer. Pam Fantini and Maria Rigby rink, which is rink number 3. As the jack is thrown there by Brenda Bulchin, and it's going pretty long, if not too long.
Yep. Not quite what she wanted, but Jack has rolled back. The opposition lead gets a chance to roll it and put the mat where she wants. As long as it stays in bounds, that's where it will finish.
So Gloria Gillespie will have the task of rolling the jack for Maria Rigby now, who just wants sort of a medium length, mat up a wee while, jack a bit off the tee kind of length.
Yeah, probably the mat's 4 metres up from the tee, and Maria has her foot a couple of metres in front of the tee on the other end. So yeah, about a 3/4 length end, a bit longer.
So this particular rink, Pam Fantini in front, 17 shots to 11 after 15 completed ends.
In Georgia White's game, they are trailing 8. Is that 19? I think.
19-8. So Esther Regan 19, Georgia White 8, Kelsey Cottrell 21, Nolene Dutton 9.
Men's match, there's not a lot in it. Only 6 points separate the two teams in Helensvale's favour. Or the two sides, I should say, rather than the two teams. 38-32 to Helensvale in the men's match against Enoggera.
So good start here for Maria Rigby's rink. Gloria Gillespie drawing the shot. Welcome to Ron Byers. Thanks for joining us, Ron. It's Brenda Bulchin. Just looks like she's a touch over with that one. So Gloria Gillespie, who was a sort of a late in for Enoggera side, wasn't she?
Yeah, the lead has changed for each match, I think.
Looks as though
They've
she's
had 3 different leads in this particular team for each match, so I think they're giving each girl a chance to play in these finals. Obviously brought a few spares with them.
was pinched her green with her second one there, Gloria. So Teresa Armitage has gone seriously close to the jack here, but she just didn't get down to it. Any pickup of the jack would have been in her favour, but 1 to Inogra at this stage, and Maria Rigby just instructing her second, Wendy Peach, to beat that red bolt. If she makes the connection on the shot bowl, it'll be pretty handy as well, you'd think.
Good line, just slides on by.
So she's going to finish narrow and heavy, and she'll need to make a correction.
Yes,
with
just
her
dropped
next
in the
one there.
ditch.
So Teresa Armitage, mother of Australian Jackaroos captain Lindsay Clark, and she's pulled that one narrow as well.
You can see the wind actually rattling or ruffling those who are wearing skirts or pants with a little bit of room in them. The wind is kind of whipping around there, so it's not letting up at all, making conditions a little tricky. That one was a little underdone for grass, but the weight wasn't bad at all.
So here's Mum's bowl, Harrison. Here's Rosie White on her forehand. Can't quite see her, but you may see her bowl come into play here. This is her white bowl coming down. Looks as though she needs to get a little bit lucky off this red one, and she's going to do so. Good enough for shot. She was absolutely flying there, and she... You got a bit of a wry smile on her face and says, oh, well,
I'll take it.
I've got another one as well. We'll see what I can do with that one.
Faye Clark's looking
Going
to
to collect her
change it a
second
bit.
shot here, which is just moved her second, given Rosie White a little bit more room.
Okay, let's see if Rosie can make the adjustment with weight. Line was good. Yeah, looks a better weight. I'm just wondering if she's taken too much off.
Just pulled that one narrow. It's interesting here.
Yep.
Kelsey Cottrell is watching. She's obviously multi-talented because she's on the green, walking on the green, so someone's obviously got control of her phone. Andrew Howie's on the rink as well, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Hope you haven't been hacked, Kels. We're joined by Mark Leith, one of Christchurch's finest. How are you, Mark? So Faye Clark now on her forehand. Shot bowl around about jack level, jack high. She has a good second shot also about jack level.
She's searching for that shot bowl. Or the jack. She'll take either.
Needs the wind to help her on its last little draw here, and she's drawn a good second.
Gee, that was a good second bowl.
So
second shot, I mean.
2 seconds now for Maria Rigby, and she's never scared of attacking. As we're joined by Claire Turley. Thanks for joining us, Claire. Jenny Smith. Thanks, Jenny. So there's a fair few new viewers out there now who have just joined us, and we're around about 2/3 of the way through this match. So what we need you to do, we want to push on past that 200 viewer mark, and we can do that by you guys pressing the share button down in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, or maybe somewhere else, but it'll say share.
And Fantini lets her first bowl go.
She's on a tight line.
If she sits that bowl out, not quite.
So a decent weight there,
Okay.
Pam.
Maria Rigby, not wasting any time, being very positive at the head. She could take her own bowl out here.
Well, that's an interesting shot by Maria. I'm not sure about her choice of hand.
I wonder if she thinks, okay, we've got the best back. If I can drag it back, we'll make a number, because she's down by 6 on the board at the moment.
Well, Helensvale have that red one pass ahead, so
Pam's
and if she
just-
wanted to do that anyway, she could have played the backhand. So interesting now. And
So
if
Pam
she,
has changed hands too.
well, the danger now for Riggers is that if she plays with big weight, she's a chance of getting both her bowls out the head now.
That's a lovely home. Pam just snuck around that jack high bowl and sat directly behind the jack. So Maria's going to stay on the backhand and stay playing weight. She is apparently looking for a number rather than just... No, missed it narrow.
One to Helensvale, so they stretch their lead on the Pam Fantini rink, 18 shots to 11, and that particular rink at the moment has played more rinks than the other two, so if all goes to plan there, they will possibly finish first.
On Kelsey Cottrell's rink, it looks like Helensvale's holding shot with one of Kelsey's bowls, but I haven't actually watched that rink for a few minutes, so I can see the jack's been shifted off the centre line to the right. So Nolene's just waiting for the players in the centre of the green to clear the head, and she will have an unobstructed view, and that's the second time that's happened.
It's a great start there from Brenda Bolcher, drawing a front toucher with her first, as on the rink next to it. The Esther Regan rink of Inogra's picked up a massive count of 4. So that's very, very helpful. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask away.
Okay,
if there's
right.
something bugging you in the background, what do you want to know?
Just let me correct an earlier assumption. Nolene was actually holding shot and is looking to draw her second, which it appears she has. So 3 down. They just picked up 3 shots, make their score look a bit better. It gone into double figures. That's on rink 1, by the way. Nolene Dutton's team trailing Kelsey Cottrell's team by quite a bit, but they've just gone to double figures now. It's 21-12.
Good leading from Brenda Bolcham with the red bowls for Club Helensvale. One front toucher and then putting one past the jack. And we can confirm that the men's score is Club Helensvale 38, Inogra 32 after 43 completed ends.
Yeah, the board hasn't moved for a little while, so I guess there's probably a couple of ends to go on that at least. On rink 2, they played 15 ends, and that was the rink where Inogra just picked up I think, did you say 4 then on the last end? It's 23-9 in favour of Inogra.
So Teresa Armitage just needs to settle down on this one here, and she's lucky that she got a piece
good
of the
bowl.
red one onto the jack there, which helped the cause, because that could have gone terribly wrong there, but a little bit lucky for Teresa Armitage. Our hold shot, so Maria Rigby just wanting another one as close as she possibly can from her second, Wendy Peach. Looks to have gone a touch wide and heavy with that one, so ended up in a reasonable home at the back. So Teresa Armitage on her forehand. Looks to be on a reasonable sort of line here, all down to her weight. She looks like she's a touch heavy again.
Mm-hmm. Rink 2, Helensvale holding shot on the head, and rink 1 I can't see. Okay, Sarah playing a heavy bowl into the ditch.
So in the women's, we can tell you,
Just getting the board updated now. The scorers are both over there conferring. 48-46 in favour of Helensvale after 45 ends. That is the up-to-date score for the match. Helensvale with their noses in front by 3. Men's board hasn't changed for a while.